We begin on page 142 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Barechuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. Tzeitkam l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Shalom, Shalom. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're Phyllis and Michael Rosenberg, along with Cantor Emily Weigert-Pincus, welcome you to the Reform Temple of Forest Hills. We are honored to celebrate Shabbat with you tonight, both here, those here in our sanctuary, and those on our live stream. Rabbi Kaiserman is away this week, and we would like to invite Gwen Leifer and Aaron Levinson up for candle lighting. They'll lead us in candle lighting on page 120 using the pages in the brackets.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. And we continue with Kiddush on page 123.
Please rise.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvratzon himkilanu, zikaron lemase bereshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Yisraelim, ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, ve'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava uvratzon himchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Hashabbat l'chaim. L'chaim.
Let's take this as an opportunity to meet the people around you and wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Mingle.
Huh?
Mingle.
Bingo.
What's that? That's it. Got them.
Okay, we're going to continue on page 124. Please be seated.
Page 124. We'll read responsively. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it
Together,
welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
may the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
We'll continue with Lecha Dodi on page 138. What verses? 1, 2, and 9? 1, 2, and 9.
We rise on 9.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litilah. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We're going to continue on page 151. Please be seated. Yeah, and then,
Actually, we continue on page 146 with the Baruch Hu, and please rise.
okay, sorry about that.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai, Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
Oh, yes, okay. How do you do this first?
Now to 151?
Yes.
Now to
Yes.
151. Please be seated.
No.
Oh, yeah, they can sit for this.
They-
Okay. On the top of 151, as you are taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mysteries beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You mean Torah for me? Did you mean the struggles for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Let me into the mystery. Baruch
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadita. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu u'fumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla negei yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please rise. Please rise.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושילנתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאת ידכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohim Emet.
We read responsively on page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei fele, nora tehilot osei fele. Malechutecha ra'u v'alecha bokei hayam, לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יאללה לילה, יאללה לילה, יאללה לילה, יאללה לילה, יאללה לילה, יאללה לילה, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Bottom of 160, and we'll do that again. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. ועל ירושלים ועל כל עמו Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We continue with the tefillah using only the even number pages, beginning on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei v'Leihem, L'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atzarav Lehoshia, Mashiv Haruach, Umorit HaGashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Micha mocha bal gevurot umido melach, Melech meimit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman nata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated.
Okay, on page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. Okay, we do now. Okay. We continue with our own silent prayers.
Not yet.
Oh.
Not yet.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amnecha Yisrael U'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel U'tehi leratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha Il karov lechol koreav Pnei el avadecha v'chonenu Shefoch ruchacha Aleinu ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו ועמו לציון.
We continue with our own personal prayers.
Yai lai 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 ya la lai 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 Yai lai 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 ya la lai 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 Yai lai lai ya la lai 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 Yai lai 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 And I did not mention, because we have sung it many times, but this is a melody that originates in the Ukraine Hasidic community, and we will continue to sing it, hopefully not for many more months and years.
Okay, we turn to our Torah service, beginning on page 364. We invite Monty Silberger and Linda Freitag to join us on the bima.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udivar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlu Adonai iti, unerum b'ma Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hakidula v'hakivuna v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'ha'od. Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'yamin lechol lerosh. Yisrael v'oraita v'kudesha berichu atu. Yisrael v'oraita v'kudesha berichu atu. Torah, 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 hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah.
Please be seated.
So we are reading from Parashat Bo this week, which starts with God once again hardening Pharaoh's heart. 3 more plagues, and of course the deadliest one, the death of the firstborn. And finally, the Israelites are free to go. A lot of difficult things that happen in this Torah portion, but finally we are free. And also, the origin of the Haggadah and our whole Passover ritual can be found in this parsha. And you probably heard none of this because I was not standing at the mic. But anyway, so just to summarize, in Parashat Bo, the last 3 plagues occur. The Israelites are set free following the death of the firstborn, and also leading up to that, God has all of these instructions for this final banquet, which is actually happening as the firstborn is being slayed dead in all the Egyptian houses. But this is also the origin of the Haggadah and our Seder, because as it is written, you shall tell to them how I set you free and how you were once slaves in Egypt. And this is the mitzvah for us to remember every year at Passover. So it is my pleasure to call for our Torah chanter today, Valerie Chu. She will be chanting on page 406 in the Plaut commentary, Exodus chapter 10, starting with verse 1. And it is my pleasure to call Daniela Lednesser for the Aliyah.
Baruch hu et Adonai havarach.
Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu michol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe bo el Paro, ki ani הכבדתי את ליבו ואת לב עבדיו למען שיתי אותותי אלך בקרבו ולמען תספר באוזני בנך ובן בנך את אשר התעללתי במצרים ואת אותותי אשר שמתי בם וידעתם כי אני אדוני. ויבוא משה ואהרון אל פרעה ויאמרו אליו כה אמר אדוני אלוהי העברית עד מתי מאנת לענות מפני שלח עמי ויעבדוני.
Yesher Koach. And I should also say this is the occasion, it's actually the anniversary of Valerie's bat mitzvah. So Yesher Koach and Mazel Tov on that too.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chaye olam nota bitochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Okay, you want say what you're going to say? Yeah. Go ahead.
We share a prayer for healing for those who need our strength and support. Some from the RFT community we are especially thinking of.
Elaine Wall. Elaine Wall, Jamie Stern, Leah Stern, Joan Lipton, Arlene Green, Roberta Traeger, Jody Ann Herman, Rochelle Weinberg, Don Levy, Larry Bloom, Arnold Gilbert, Barbara Gilbert, Jane Levy, Brenda Levinson, Debbie Ball, Jody Harkavay, Lauren Nagel Krosny, Mercedes Schwartz, Abigail Brown, Hayden Lafgarbner,
Lafgraben.
Gardner Hader Biyami, and Alvin Mangru. If you have any names and you'd like to add them to our Mishabera, when Phyllis points to you, you can say them out loud.
And if you're on the live stream, add them into the chat. We continue with the Mishabera.
Mishaberach avotenu mikor haberacha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor haberacha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
You have to say something. We have to lift the Torah.
Please rise. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, ya la lai la lai, yai lai lai ya la lai.
We invite Jill and Neil Manis to the Torah.
Eitz chaim hi, lamachar zikim ba, vetomchea meushar dirachea, darchei noam, vechol netivotea, shalom, shalom.
Please be seated. It's me. Okay. There are 54 parshat in the Torah. Of the 54, tonight's Torah portion, Bo, is arguably one of the most detailed readings in the Torah and is packed with stories and mitzvot which are very familiar to most of us. It takes its name, Bo, from the first word, God's command to Moses, go to Pharaoh. It describes the last 3 plagues suffered by the Egyptians, locust, darkness, and death of the firstborn, and ends with the drama of the exodus from Egypt. After the plagues of locusts and darkness, and just before the final plague is brought upon Pharaoh and the Egyptians, Moses is commanded by God to tell the Israelites to borrow objects of gold, silver, and jewels from their Egyptian neighbors. Now, I know that the golden calf story is not part of this Torah portion, but I always wondered where the Israelites had gotten the gold and jewels to build the golden calf. They just took it from the Egyptians, which the Egyptians gave them willingly, hopefully to just be rid of them and the plagues. In this parshat, we are introduced to the laws of Pesach. On the night of the 10th plague, the Jewish people are commanded to take a lamb to be slaughtered as a Pesach offering. The lamb's blood is put on their doorpost, and its roasted meat is eaten. The blood on the doorpost will be the sign that their homes will be passed over when God strikes the firstborn of Egypt. The lamb's blood on the doorpost has a connection with the mezuzah. It's a sign that God is always there at our door to protect us, just like he did with the plagues. The Jewish people are told to memorialize this day as the exodus from Egypt by never eating chametz on Pesach. Moses also declares that God has commanded the people to recall their liberation from each year with a special commemoration ceremony. The first and 7 days are to be set aside for a solemn gathering of the community, and you are to eat unleavened bread for all 7 days. In this parshat, we are also introduced to the laws of Rosh Chodesh. Unlike the Egyptian calendar, which follows the sun, the Jewish calendar comprises of 354 days and follows the moon. God gave the Jewish people their first mitzvah of declaring the new moon Rosh Chodesh each month and establishing the lunar calendar. At midnight on the night of the 14th of Nisan in the year 2448 BCE, the plague of the slain commenced, and the angel of death swooped down, and every Egyptian firstborn and every firstborn of cattle died. Now, one could understand this horrible punishment being meted out to the aristocracy, the ruling classes, and the land gentry. After all, they were the people who had enslaved and oppressed the Jewish nation for their own personal gain. But why did God kill the firstborn of the maidservants and the firstborn of those in prison? Surely those people who were oppressed themselves were not guilty of oppressing the Israelites. Why were they also killed in this awful punishment? Although perhaps not actively oppressing anyone, these poor people are guilty because they belong to an Egyptian society which did oppress the Jewish people. The fact was, these groups were happy to see the Jews suffer. This made them emotionally complicit in the crimes of the Egyptians. In addition, had they been spared and survived the plague, it would have been seen that their false Egyptian gods had saved them from the punishments. In the middle of the night, after the plague was completed, Pharaoh calls to Moses and not only permits the Israelites to leave, but immediately drives them out of Egypt. The Israelites were told to find and collect their children, gather all their possessions and provisions, and the first thing in the morning be ready to leave their homes and Egypt forever. Every time I think about the mass exodus, which amounted to over 600,000 people, I picture the amazing scene in the 1956 Cecil B. DeMille movie, The Ten Commandments, where the people are all gathered outside the wall with all their possessions and livestock, getting ready to leave Egypt forever, with Charlton Heston / Moses standing at the head of the gathering, ready to leave. They did not have any idea what was ahead for them, where they were going, or whether they would somehow survive the elements and the unknown. However, everything would be better than the bondage that they had endured under Egyptian rule. It was a moment of desperate hope for the Israelites and took a lot of faith and courage for the men and women to leave what had been their homes for their whole lives. They were putting their faith in God and Moses to guide them and hopefully lead them to peace and prosperity in the Promised Land. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. We're going to do simchas right now, so I'm going to walk around, and if anybody has a simcha, you can raise your hand, and I'll stop. Just give your name, and then your simcha. Can you hear me with this now? Everybody hear me? Okay, I'm going to come around this way, right in the back.
My kids' school begins much later this semester.
For the people on the live stream, if you have a simcha, just add it to the chat. Anybody in this section here? Gee, you have it for Rabbi Kaiserman. You don't have it for me? Thank you. Okay, 1 second. Okay.
I'm Scott, and I got a haircut.
I'm Aaron, and I wanted to say mazel tov for you and Phyllis on tonight's service.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Here we go. Okay.
I'm Alan. We celebrated our son's 32nd birthday this past weekend, and I went to see the Knicks with him for the first time since he was a kid, so that was fun.
Did they win? They won. All right. All right.
So our daughter and son-in-law and 4.5-year-old twins moved into their new house, and from Seattle. They're now in Larchmont, and the boys told their teachers in their preschool in a Jewish temple, and they sent home the mezuzah book, and they put their mezuzah up on the front. And I said to my daughter, "You have one?" She says, "Yeah, the one from Seattle. I took it." Thank you.
It's a much easier drive from Forest Hills to Larchmont than it is to Seattle. Anybody else? Okay, here we come.
My name is Arlene, and I'm enjoying the memory of my son's bar mitzvah portion, which is Bo. Thank you.
Coming, Karen. Okay, here we go.
I'm glad I don't have COVID anymore.
Don't we all feel that way? Go ahead. What's that? We continue with Elena in the middle of page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל העולם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. It's me. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. The day remembers the killing of 6 million Jews, two-thirds of Europe's Jewish population, and millions of others by the Nazi regime and its collaborators. It was designated by the United Nations General Assembly on November 1st, 2005. The resolution came after a special session which was held earlier in the year to mark the 60th anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi concentration camps and the end of the Holocaust. This is a quote from Elie Wiesel about the Holocaust. "I decided to devote my life to telling the story because I have survived. I owe something to the dead. Anyone who does not remember betrays them all."
We continue on page 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more, and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give light. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. At this time, in this congregation, we are thinking especially of, for Shloshim in recent days, Eleanor K. Veltri, mother of Thomas Veltri. And for Yahrzeit, Ruth Adelson, Sigrid Amerikaner, Erwin Anderson, Leah Aronson, Isidore Biggis, Ira Block, Louis Canner, George Cohen, Morris Cohen, Francis Cohen, Murray Dardick, Muriel Dubin, Ben Francos, Charlotte Katz Friedman, Diane Friedman Slatz, Jean Gent, Thelma Goldsmith, Joel Goldstein, Paul Gordon, Claire Greenberger, Anita Hack, Arnold Heroit, Terry Kaiserman, Ezra Kashdan, Joseph Kaufman, Lauren Kavanaugh, Joseph Kempler, Lawrence Kimler, Clara Kowalski, Sam Kraut, Rabbi Nathan Landman, Max Leinkram, Annette Barbara Tank Levine, Ann Lipton, Richard Loeb, Eva Machiz, Mildred Marcus, Anna Muchnick, Duncan Nash, Morris Petrick, Salvatore Perry, Isaac Pincus, Isidore Rosen, David Rubin, Saul C. Sachs, Bertha Shapiro, Betty Schulman, Rita Schwartz, Leon Schwartz, Dewey Seidel, Carrie Seiden, Alfred Siegel, Jesse Sklaryn, Michael Soloway, Lillian Sovern, Jesse Stein, Bertha Tauscher, Claire Wattenberg, David H. Zalewski. And you're welcome to put any names on the live stream. If you're watching on the live stream, to put any names that you were thinking of into the chat. And at this time here, if there is any name, you can say that as my eyes meet yours.
I'll say it.
Seven Israelis who were killed yesterday in the
Salvatore Perry.
We hold these names and others in our hearts as we rise as one congregation to recite the hallowed words of the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And to this we say, amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimru amen. Please be seated.
Okay. We'll call up our President, Seth Diamond, for a few announcements.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Cantor, and to Phyllis and Michael for leading a beautiful service, and always to Joe and Bonnie for your wonderful music. February is almost upon us, and it's a busy month coming up here at Temple. Next Friday at 8, we will have our joyous and musical Shabbat Shira service, and the following Friday, February 10th, we will host our monthly Shabbat Rishon at 6. On February 11th, we have our virtual Tu B'Shvat Seder. In this week ahead, the Men's Study and WOCO will be meeting separately this month. And at the end of the month, after the Super Bowl, when you're trying to figure out what to do on a Sunday afternoon, we will have another of our chamber music series events that will take place on February 26th, and you can already start buying tickets. Details on all these events are in the e-blast. Finally, as Cantor mentioned in her note this week, it has been a difficult few days. We all heard about the awful shooting in California. The news from Israel today was also very upsetting. And of course, this evening, the release of the video from Memphis. In thinking about how to process all this, I turned to something I read by Mary Pfeiffer, an author and clinical psychologist. Dr. Pfeiffer writes of the thoughts I'm sure many of us are having, and I'm quoting, "Last night, I sat on my porch and watched a storm in the southeastern sky. Bolt after bolt of cloud-to-cloud lightning illuminated the towering thunderbolts. An owl flew over en route to her favorite pine tree. Frogs croaked, dogs barked in the distance. As I watched this scene, I thought, life is so terrible and beautiful at the same time. Do I have the capacity to hold it all in my heart? Let us try and keep the beauty of the world in our heart and realize by coming together as a community and caring for one another, we are doing our part to make it a less terrible and better place for everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
So as we prepare for our Oneg and following services, we invite any kids that are in the sanctuary to lead us in Motzi. So that includes our Torah reader and Aaron. Come on up. Still kids.
Even though you're post B'nai Mitzvah,
Yes, even though
you're still by far the youngest people in this room.
Oh. No knife?
We may have to go to more primitive means. Yai, lai, lai, lai. 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 Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 yai. Lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, lai, lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. B'tei avon. Bon appetit. And we conclude on page 625 with Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lehi nasa v'hefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiklot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh betifara. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lehi nasa v'hefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiklot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh betifara. והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכפירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lehi nasa v'hefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiklot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh betifara. בידו הפקיד רוחי והייתי של והעירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא. שבת שלום שבת שלום שבת שלום ומבורך שבת שלום שבת שלום שבת שלום ומבורך. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra lehi nasa v'hefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiklot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh ve'hu yeh betifara.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.